Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining Halo Labs today. I'm really happy to present Jeff Arnold here with me today. Jeff, thank you so much for joining. I really look forward to talking to you.
Igor, thank you so much. I'm equally as excited and looking forward to this. And for your listeners, we had quite the chuckle-headed experience in the green room before we went live. So I believe this is going to be a fun event for us both.
For sure. I'm really, really excited. So I want to jump in right away into your early life and what led you down the path to getting into insurance.
Oh, it's a great story. Don't even have to rehearse it because I talk about it in a couple of my books, right? So I grew up in rural Western Kentucky. And most of my family were preachers or farmers. But at age 14, I was sitting on a hay bale, working in the hay and cornfields, when a guy drove up to Mr. Newton's farmhouse in a four-door Buick with the windows up. This is important because that means he had air conditioning. In the 70s,
Okay.
that was really freaking cool.
Yeah.
He got out of the car in a crisp white starched shirt and a suit jacket and a tie. And I asked my friend Chuck on the hay bale next to me, "What's that guy do?" And he said, "Insurance for
There you go.
crops." And so, unbeknownst to me, my friend, that planted a seed in my life that about 9 years later, 22, 23, I was a struggling thespian, comedian, autist.
Okay.
I could not pay rent, eat, or fill up the gas tank from my theater days. And so I answered an ad that said insurance salesman wanted. And here we are 34 years later. I don't want to pontificate too much, but to lay the framework for your listeners is, I mean, this has been a wonderful industry. I've run two insurance companies, bought 40 agencies, and written 10 books on the subject. And again, I'm not trying to make it the Jeff show. What I'm trying to convey here is this is the industry of all things sexy, exciting, and just plain awesome. If a country preacher's kid from a hay bale in Western Kentucky can do what I've done, you can too. So that's my short story on how I got into this glorious business.
That's amazing. So it's like the writing was on the wall pretty much at that point when you're like, hey, I saw this earlier in life and there's a sign for it again. I might as well give it a go. That's great. So based on that, when you ultimately decided, okay, this is the path I want to take, were there any things that you immediately dug into? Were there people that you knew you could reach out to? Or, how did you end up, connecting those dots? Because it's one thing to say, you know what, I'm going to pull this, I'm going to apply and do it and then start doing it versus some people maybe aren't successful when they first try.
Yeah, well, certainly more failures than successes, right? We only talk about the successes, but the path was littered with lots of failures too. I simply answered an ad that said, as cliche as it sounds, insurance salesman wanted, right? I went in and one of the folks up front, very attractive young lady, told the interviewer guy, I found out afterwards, hire the funny guy. So for some reason, I came across as funny or engaged, but uh, I didn't reach out to anyone. It just kind of happened. And then once I got into it, like anyone else, that rural agrarian work ethic, if you apply that to your life, like you do to farms or anything else, you will succeed. It doesn't mean that you won't be met with failure, but after about 2 months at that place, I became the top salesperson. And by the way, I am an aged man, so this is in the 80s. This was it, you had leads. We had to call people from the white pages. It used to be a thing. You used to
Yeah.
make 200 phone calls a day. And so you just dig in and you get it done. I could go through 1,000 rabbit trails there, but I want to keep on focus. And so the truth is, I stand on the shoulders of a lot of people and mentors, but in the beginning days, it was just sweat equity and working really hard.
That's awesome. That's a good old American tale right there.
Yeah.
So then as you do this for a couple of years, and then you mentioned that, you started several other companies as well. What were your big takeaways from those past experiences that then led you over to the path for RightShare?
Yeah, very fortunate, like I hinted at earlier, to stand on the shoulders of some great mentors. And I'll say this, there could have been more, but as a young man, ego was in the way. I thought I knew more than I really knew, right? And so my heart wasn't ready to be poured into by several wonderful, very successful mentors. But I was of the age where I thought I knew it all. And so as I got a little older and more people still wanted to pour into me, I learned to shut my mouth and listen. And so really the turning point was when I sat at the feet of a guy named Michael Gerber for a couple of years. He wrote the book, The E-Myth, Why Most Businesses Don't Work and What to Do About It, and read his book, contacted him, sat at his feet for guidance, counsel, consulting. And it took about a year before I started doing what he was telling me to do, because again, I thought I could do it on my own. And then I met a man by the name of Tim Hampton, who really infused, transferred, implanted his passion for this industry into me. And so those are two very broad, wide shoulders that I stand on to do this. And of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't say that I overmarried, and I married a woman who stood beside me through the good times, and they were great, and the bad times, and those valleys were deep as well. The reason I said that is, even though I had some successes at 42, I lost everything. I was president of a large company, thousands of employees, 900 million plus in revenue, and along comes the Great Recession, or whatever you want to call it, in 2007, 2008. Yeah. We lost everything. Company imploded, had to start over at 42 years old.
Wow.
This is important. The woman I married and who gave me 4 kids said this: "You're Jeff Arnold. You've done it before. You'll do it again.
Do it again.
And I'll be with you no matter what." And as men, I don't mean to exclude women here, but men, we want success because that's how we keep score, right? We typically keep score with money, assets, flashy things, and titles. What we crave deeply, more than anything, more than money, is respect and admiration. I believe this to resonate with every man's heart. I really, really do, Igor. It's just we fill it with other stuff. But when you have someone that fills that, it could be God, it could be religion, it could be spouses, a lot of culmination of things. But when that cup is filled in your heart, then you can do anything.
Yeah, that's an amazing answer. I definitely resonate with that. I have an amazing wife as well who stands by me through every venture, for every ups and downs as well. And we've had our fair shares of issues and whatnot when it comes to people's health or business endeavors or house endeavors, whatever. So yeah, I agree with that sentiment entirely. Having somebody, on your side like that, supporting you and being their support as well is huge. That's amazing. So then I would like to ask you about your entry to RIGHTSURE. Was there a problem necessary that you were looking to solve for? Like, did you identify, hey, I've done these things in the past and here's how it resulted, and I want to try something different? Or did you maybe just see something else that other people didn't see?
Thanks so much for coming back to that, because I didn't answer that on the tail end of the last query or question. So yeah, it's 2007. In the middle of watching this, wasn't just me, lots of other super smart guys leading this company, and literally just lost all of our lines of credit. And what happened? 2008 rolls around. Still, I ran the insurance division and title and escrow and all kinds of divisions for this large financial institution. And so I knew that I couldn't sit still. And so I picked about 8 of the best folks I had with me at that firm and started RIGHTSURE. And this time it was with the intention of, we're going to do insurance different. Like, so when people say insurance or hear insurance, their eyes gloss over and they yawn. They don't think it's awesome. But I knew that we could intentionally build an organization that had an energy, a palpable energy that you could feel, like you could almost cut it with a knife when you talked to our people and when you came into any of our retail locations. And that turned out to be our famously friendly humans, which we're known for, right? So at the end of the day, we're in the legal contract business, right? We don't even say insurance anymore because people just tune out instantly, right? So we sell legal contracts, right? We're in the insurance business, and what our legal contracts do at the base of it is give people who can't afford to buy their house with cash. We step in with that contract and say to the bank, we'll make good on it if something happens to it. We've underwritten this risk. We like them. We approve. Here's the rate we're going to charge, and they can buy that house. The same for cars, the same for businesses. So what other people see as boring, I submit to your listeners that these legal contracts help business flourish worldwide, help people buy homes they can't pay cash for, cars they can't pay cash for, buy toys, boats, RVs, motorcycles, what have you, just by one little bitty legal contract that they literally pay pennies on the dollar for. And so when you look at it like that, it's a fascinating business. And RIGHTSURE has been very fortunate to grow because of that energy I've told you about. A quick plug for our famously friendly humans. We didn't come up with this name. Several industry publications worldwide have referred to us now as North America's most awarded insurance firm. And that's really, really powerful when we're a small, nimble group of less than 60 people. And we've repeatedly now for 7 or 8 years been called North America's most awarded insurance firm. So that's the short story, or the long story. The short story is RIGHTSURE helps people with insurance from pets to jets, homes and drones, and all things in between in 42 states and 3 countries.
Yeah, I mean that's amazing. So it sounds like you guys really get a kick of helping people do life. You know, there's a bunch of different reasons why somebody might need your help in order to achieve whatever goal they're trying to do, and maybe a normal method of getting there doesn't work, and so you guys step in and you help navigate that. That's a big deal, especially for the times that this country's been through in the last 10 years for ups and downs. That's amazing.
Yeah, you totally get it. You said it better than I did, so thank you.
Yeah, no
Steal
problem.
that from you in a future episode.
Anytime, it's all yours. So, we talked about what the big moment that was adverse is obviously that collapse that led to the start of this endeavor. So conversely to something negative, what is a decision or something that you've directly touched in your workday that you're really proud of?
Easy. Thank you. This is right across the middle of the plate, man. Home run. It is pouring into our people, right? So if you struggle with people, right, you're going to struggle in any industry. But once you learn that there's a really easy way to correct behavior without destroying people, right? I write about in one of my books on leadership, Leading Across Generations, is that you cannot apply the same template to dealing with every generation across the board. You have to be malleable, adjustable. You have to tweak it a little bit. And so what I love each day is the ability to pour into our people, tell them they matter, because that, again, we talked about earlier, we crave respect, right? We crave admiration, and to set them on a path, help them develop a path for their own professional development and personal development that changes them. Again, you're looking from a kid who grew up in rural Kentucky, shared a bedroom with my brother in our 3-bedroom mobile home, right?
Oh, wow.
It's not like I was born with a silver spoon, right?
Right.
Nothing against my parents. They worked very, very hard, but the beauty of the free enterprise is entrepreneurship still works, right? And I've been able to tap into that. But back to our people is, it doesn't matter where you started. Where do you want to go? And we can help get you there. And if you remember when we first started talking, the heart has to be ready, right? When the heart is ready, the teacher will come. And so I certainly have tried to plant seeds on very infertile ground before, much like many wonderful men and women tried to in my life. But finally, when I was ready, the people showed up, more people showed up. The same, some of the seeds I plant today they just die. But so many of them, and it's evident in our people that those that are willing to learn and have an open heart, we get to affect not only their personal development, but their income and their lifestyle. And so that's what I live for these days is reaching people.
Yeah, it sounds like you're a really good teacher.
Thank you. Of course, my ego says yes, but I have much to learn, and others might not confirm that.
That's all right. I'm sure you got plenty that would. So let's talk about the industry itself. So in your experience, from where you've been to what you've done, where do you think it's changing to? Like where are expectations that you're hearing from the people that you're serving?
Yeah, I'll say this as it's being proclaimed even louder now with the over integration or the mass integration of AI, artificial intelligence, that the death of the insurance agent, insurance salesman is premature, right?
Okay.
There's still going to be a need for people in our industry, for humans in our industry. And in fact, I say in my latest book, AI Forward Leadership, that you need to think about the initials AI different. Although it stands for artificial intelligence, I suggest to people in my book, think of it as amplified income. And here's why. even if you've only dabbled in AI, you've certainly seen the awesome power of it, right? It cannot fully replace you, but it can, at this point, it can replace the mundane, the repetitive, the minutia of the day-to-day. And it can amplify your ability to make more money, if that is your goal, spend more time with your children or your spouse, if that is your goal. It can amplify that. And so while I fully subscribe to AI and of course plug for my book, AI for Leadership, right?
Yeah.
I also would hearken to people's hearts and ears that you're not going to be replaced. It's going to help you. It can help you do so much and allow you to do what is best, and that's connect with other humans and transfer knowledge.
Yeah, transfer knowledge is a big one. Definitely, definitely. So then would you say that with these tools and all these things that are becoming more readily available, do you think that the best opportunities are out there for independent agencies or some of the larger carriers? Like where do you see the competition there or the future of those two?
I'll tell you this, Igor. So I'm fortunate to be on a lot of boards and a shareholder of a lot of Insurtechs. I mean, quite a few. I don't say that to be braggadocious. Here's what I go to sleep smiling about. Some young person, boy or girl, man or woman, some young person somewhere is tinkering with AI in a way, or merging, infusing, amalgamating all these software as a service plus AI together, that is absolutely going to transform or revolutionize our industry. And they're going to be the next unicorn. And I am so excited. I'm involved in so many startups, a lot for free. Some we invest in because I'm on the board of some private equity firms. Some I just give my time, talent, and some we give treasury to, right? But what excites me about that is there is an enthusiasm with this newer crop coming in, right?
Mm.
They don't know what they don't know. They don't know what's not possible, and they're going to disrupt it. And I love that. I'm so excited about it.
Yeah.
But I don't think the independent agency channel suffers much. Directs will capture more. Who's going to suffer, in my mind, is what we call the captives, those who only have one banner to fly or one product. Those who are what we call in the industry multivariate, the ability to offer multiple rates with multiple carriers, they're going to win because consumers need choice. But that in itself doesn't create a winner. I mean, there are lots of firms that have the ability to multivariate now. It's that, I'm going to use the word again, sorry, that infusion, that creation, that marriage of AI with the consumer journey in mind and rates from dozens or hundreds of insurance companies that really change how things are done. I'll bore you a little bit with what we're spending a lot of our treasury on, since I spoke about
Sure.
treasury. We're focused right now intently on the end of insurance shopping, right? So what
Mm.
if is the posit that we submit to people on a new private website that we're testing, a web property. What if you never had to shop for insurance again? So our technology, that RIGHTSURE, will not only offer you coverage for up to 140 insurance companies, will we shop it automatically 45 days before your renewal and send you information with all of the rates. And people know this is possible, but it's human-based, right? Ours is fully AI infused, or automated. And of course, there's some off-the-shelf stuff like Power Automate and Zoho Flow that run some of the back-end engines. No secrets there. But it literally could be the end of insurance shopping. You never have to shop for insurance again, because we can anticipate that you might have a 15-year-old getting ready to get licensed. We'll give you information on that. We can anticipate, based upon your economic standing, that you're probably going to buy an RV or a boat or a motorcycle. We'll advance for that. And we can look at some of your click and search history and look at you may be buying a second home. So we can provide you with information for that. So I think we're just getting started there, not just us, but others. And then people might see our industry as, wow, it can be Amazon-like. You have the data, you're just using it to anticipate what I might need.
Right. Right. Data drives everything these days. So out of the technology stack that you guys are familiar with or that you're using yourself, which ones would you say you're in favor of right now that maybe you guys are implementing on a daily basis?
Well, it's certainly all of our APIs, right? So we have a full stack development team, and we use lots of outside sources too, but just our APIs that quite candidly allow us to imagine and enhance our customer journey. And here's why. You don't have to go on too many insurance sites to understand that somebody handed it off to the development team without any experience in the customer journey, right? To make them create 6 minutes worth of form filling to tell them they're going to get back to them, right? I mean, they're just so broken. You have to meet the customers where they're at. They don't like our product. They don't really want our product. They need it, again, to buy what they can't pay cash for. Well, how do we make it faster for them, right? Better, faster, cheaper in some ways. And that is by meeting them where they're at. And meeting them where they're at is, if you can just grab their address and use an API to get all the cars in their household or all their home data, why wouldn't you, right? And so what we've done hundreds of thousands of times already, right? Hundreds of millions of dollars in premium, is we've compressed, from a time standpoint, a 9-minute and 22-second phone quote for auto insurance, right? Just in that one little space, compress that down to 2 minutes and 12 seconds using AI, right? So that's huge. That's meeting the customer where they're at. They really only care about what's the final rate. Some care about coverage, but really most consumers think all the product is the same, which is nothing could be further from the truth, but okay, right? Mm-hmm. You get what you pay for in legal contracts, like everything, but they're in a hurry. So that time compression is one thing. And to answer your question with our tech stack, it's the APIs that give us that, because we don't have to take off the shelf like everyone else is doing, 9-10-minute forms, and we do it in 2 minutes and 12 seconds. That's powerful.
Yeah, efficiency is king. Yeah. For sure.
You keep coming up with these quips that summarize everything I say in 3 words. I have to steal all of them. I gotta steal.
I'll send you all my data after this. We can connect after this. I'll give you all the clips you need. But so I want to talk about your books too, and your teaching seminar. So if you put all of your books together, and I want to be fair to them, but what's one idea from your books that changed your own mind about things later? Like, did you ever read something later or think of it like, oh yeah, you know what? Actually, it made sense in more than one way.
Yeah, I think there's a couple ones. It's be tough to choose one, right? But the one that kind of comes to mind is really one about the customers. Customers don't care about your strategy, right? I mean, all the AI we're talking about, they really care about how you make them feel. Right? So we're talking about tech here. We could spend a lot of time on tech, and quite honestly, one of my best sellers is Tech Enabled, Tech Forward, and Tech Shackled, because so many people rush to buy tech because they think, oh, if I want to be an Insurtech, I have to use the tech, and it doesn't fit in with their tech stack. It actually frustrates it. So people don't really care about your strategy or your tech. They care about how you make them feel. And so that to me automatically pops up, because it's so many. I lead a lot of executive offsites, executive retreats, and I speak a lot, right? And a lot of really well-known executives that run billion-dollar firms that said, Jeff, that one, I keep that in a card in my wallet, or they've written it down and said, that one really is my leadership mantra a lot of times. And look, Jeff Arnold didn't come up with that. I'm sure it has been lifted from someone, but because it's printed with my name behind it,
it's yours.
It gets used. But that's one of them. And then, as I get a little longer in the tooth, the statement, too soon old, too late smart, right? Again, I thought I knew more than I know, but the older I get, the more I learn, and the less I realize I really do know, because things change.
It's funny you say that. I just had a conversation with my son, who's very into Pokemon right now. And he was playing in a little local event over the weekend, and we were driving home, and he was upset about some things and talked about some things. And I kind of told him hey, you know a lot right now about what's happening right now, but you got so much ahead of you. You're going to learn a lot more. It's okay, And so it's just funny that literally a day later, you're telling me the same thing I told my son. So that's great. So if you were to I don't want to say summarize, because that's not fair, but what is something that you really want your readers to walk away with when they finish one of your books?
Yeah, because I'm at a different space in my life, and we've talked about my childhood and what I've lost and what I've rebuilt way bigger and better, quite honestly, it is this, that time passes really fast, right? And again, although you want to be successful, right, the family at home matters too, right? And it is a very difficult task to balance that. But I tell you this, the latest generations, the millennials, and then Gen Z, they do a much better job at this work-life kind of balance, right? And quite frankly, what my observation is their contribution to corporate America is mental health awareness. There really is, right? I'm Gen X, and mine, if we cried, it's like, do you want me to hit you again so you have something to cry about, or what, right? And so, and then of course the baby boomers before that and the greatest generation before that, you just push it down and suck it up and go on, right? That's not always the right thing to do. And so I think that the later two, millennials and Gen Z, really are really bringing, and Gen Alpha is just coming into the workplace, but those two have really fostered kind of this mental awareness into the corporate ideology. I think it's powerful and I think it's good. And then so my other comment on that would be, since more people are thinking about that now, there is a balance to life. And work's important. Again, men still keep score the same way, right? What we earn, what we produce, what our title is, what we've made. That's just, it's probably from millions of years of DNA or whatever, right? Scorekeeping hasn't changed, but we look at it a little different now.
Yeah, we can thank the Romans for that, I think.
Fair.
So looking ahead for you and your teams, what would a massive home run look like for you guys?
This whole never have to shop for insurance again, right? The end of insurance shopping, fully automated, premeditated understanding of what the customer needs and connecting with them before. And you see it if you watch TV. I don't watch a lot of TV. I can't sit still that long, but you see it in my household. It's Roku. You'll talk about something and something will come up, right? So here's an example. My wife and daughter, we were talking about Little House on the Prairie. It's an old show.
Mm-hmm.
I go to watch, I'm a soccer fanatic. I go to watch a soccer game and Little House on the Prairie is being suggested. Now we know why, right? It's listening, right?
It's listening.
Yeah. But why can't we apply that same thing to legal contracts or insurance and anticipate, or at least respond with, hey, I know you're talking about a boat. Here's 5 things to know about boat insurance, right? Or here's 5 quotes for it. I think, which we're calling the end of insurance shopping, it's probably the beginning of, I don't know, I can't find the word, the beginning of insurance anticipation. Ooh, anticipation of insurance, another AI acronym. It's not amplify income, it's anticipation of insurance.
Augmented insurance.
Oh, I love it. Even better. You keep one up in me with your statements, man.
I'm trying really, really hard.
No, I love it.
So for, let's say, hypothetically speaking, let's say RIGHTSURE doubled tomorrow. 2-part question. What would break first? And then what excites you the most?
Well, our systems are pretty solid. They're built for scale, right? Because all these people are doing it. So what breaks first is probably anytime you have massive growth, you have massive change. And so I would want to put my feet on the brakes of our culture and check in more and encourage my leadership team to, hey, sales are here, bonuses are here, everything's going great. Check in with your people, right? How are they? And so that's the first thing I would do, because we're built for scale. But humans, right? Again, we're malleable, flexible. We get afraid because we get out of our comfort zones, right? I mean, if we quickly jump to 7,000 units a month, or about 3,500 now, we jump to 7,000 new units a month. That causes some change, right? And could be scary. And then what was the second part?
What excites you the most?
Same thing, right?
Yeah.
How do we get to roll up our sleeves and go into this again, and watch my people see that they can do it. And get to watch them, the joy on their lives and in their minds, and the smile on their faces that the old man was right. We can do this, right?
So they'd be safe to say that your investment series would be people, then data, then operations and distribution. Does that sound about right, or would you rearrange that?
Oh, I get to one up you, Igor. I love this. This is great. One for no, people, processes, profit. People first. They'll help refine our processes, and if those are taken care of, profit will follow.
That's awesome. So I mean, obviously culture is a big thing in RIGHTSURE, and you guys have gotten a lot of praise. We talked about that, which is amazing. Congratulations for that. That's definitely something that's hard to achieve. So what is the most fun thing? This is totally off topic, but what's the most fun thing you guys might do in the office to really get people going, or to reiterate, like, we really care about our people? What's fun for you guys in office?
Oh, well, we're known here in the Southwest for party buses, right? So anytime there's large insurance events, we take couple party buses, right? They set anywhere from 20 to 40 people each, and it's a really fun to watch all the different generations, right? From different music and different styles or whatever. And so kind of our party bus thing that really takes off. And then our ability to celebrate people's accomplishments and achievement, we're known by that. You have to lean into your people.
That does sound like fun. Party bus does sound like fun.
Yeah.
So one last question on the topic of all that. So when you are looking at either promoting or hiring specifically to leaders, what are maybe the top 2 qualities that when you're looking either internally or externally, what are those top 2 that really resonate for you? Like, this is going to be a good leader?
That's changed over the years, quite honestly, right? I used to look for a certain type or style of person, and I don't do a lot of the interviewing now, right? We've got a great leadership team, and I would end up leaving someone out. So I'm not going to mention outside because it's bad. But because we have a fully documented system of standards and benchmarks, right? Like what everyone's going to go through. I don't care if they've come from a Fortune 100 company, which we have employed, right? Or startup, or they've been an independent agent, or just coming in out of college, which we just hired 7 new ones out of the University of Arizona here. Our goal is to make them famously friendly, right? And so the goal inside the interview process, which again, I'm not so much a part of anymore, but my guidance, my counsel, my direction to our people is, are they present? Are they here with you? Are they looking? They don't have to have eye contact all the time. It's not a staring contest. You know if someone's present or if they're distracted, right? Because the number one problem in corporate America, and I may have to write a book on this, the singular greatest issue we have as executives and companies is people are driven to distraction. They want to return to nothingness and live a life of obsolescence. And nothingness looks like this. Let me just scroll all day long for 4 or 5 hours.
Infinite scrolling. Yeah.
Let me return to nothing. And I have no problem with people scrolling, because they're chasing dopamine or whatever. Companies really struggle with staff wanting to return to nothingness, driven to distraction. Tension and attention is very powerful and of utmost importance if you're going to create something lasting. And so my folks know, can they be present? And it's a learned thing, right? You have to teach them a little bit, but can they be a little present? And that's been the real secret to the success of Famously Friendly Humans is that doesn't matter. We have people with master's degree. We have people with high school diplomas, again, from all these different walks of life. Can they be present? Because we need their intention and attention focused on what we're trying to deliver. And most of the time, that's on the customer on the phone or in person. So, yeah.
That's really good. I haven't heard it that way before, so that's pretty impressive. I like that a lot, actually. So, in closing, where would you drive people to find you guys? Where can we go to find you? What's the best way to find you in RIGHTSURE?
I love that. If I may, provide 2 different websites. So for North America's most awarded insurance firm, it is RIGHTSURE.com, RIGHTSURE.com. And then for my notes, my books, I give a lot of free stuff away on my website, especially on leadership and tech stack stuff. And that's JeffArnold.com.
Thank you so much, Jeff. I really, really appreciate your time. You've been awesome. The insights are great. I really enjoyed talking to you. Thank you so much for joining me.
Igor, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thanks so much.
Awesome. I hope we can do it again.
Love that.